Welcome to Angels of Light Foundation, a voice for children and teenagers podcast. We are giving a platform to our younger voices, children and teenagers, sharing their thoughts on our mindfulness in nature programs and books, plus the educational system. Asking them what type of school would they want to learn in? What would they like to see change in our world? Finding out what gifts they hold and why they feel they are here on this planet. We believe, as parents and educators, that we should strive to raise children with a voice and for them to be heard.
Welcome to the Angels of Light Children Foundation, a Voice for Children podcast, giving a platform to our younger generation, sharing their thoughts on mindfulness, the education system, meditation, and the new world going forward.
And today we have Bailey, and thank you, Bailey, for being here. And
thank you for having me.
You're welcome, darling. And my first initiation was to ask you, Bailey, because we've spent quite a lot of time together. And how old are you now?
I'm turning 15 this month, so I'm currently 14.
I always think you're a lot older, but you know, I wanted to have you first on this platform because you've been through a lot. You were through the pandemic with your schooling. I have seen you numerous of times, and you've really turned your life around. So I thought, you know, to have someone so inspirational and somebody that was really dedicated and working with me and just turned everything around in a positive way. Is that why the first person to be called when I was meditating was you? So really thank you. And thanks to your mom for letting you come on here as well. So we really, really appreciate you being here. So, and obviously thank you to Charles, who's joining me on this podcast journey. If you want to tell anyone a little bit about yourself, Charles, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Terry, thanks for having me also be a part of this. This is an important conversation, an important platform, and I think it's going to change the world. Bailey, you're going to change the world. No pressure. No pressure. My background comes from the therapy world. I am a behavior therapist. I have 11 years working with children with autism, working with parents, working in the educational system, and just really basically creating programs and teaching tools to give children and families a better life. I think,
and we've known Charles quite a long time, me and my husband. So, and we got together recently and we've been interviewing each other, and I really got the divine message to call him along on this podcast to have a younger voice on here with me, and just for us to have different opinions and for us to share also different insights into going forward with, I'd say, the mental health of our youth society today. So thank you, Charles, for coming on. That's wonderful.
thank you.
Right. We are going to, Bailey, ask a few questions. So just fire away, just talk authentically. How did you find our sessions, Bailey? You know, when we did the mindfulness and the emotional awareness with yourself, how did the sessions help you?
I honestly, because if you remember, me and my mom did it the first time, and we talked about our experience together, and we just felt cleaner. I don't know how to describe it, but cleaner. A lot of stuff had taken off of our shoulders. We felt lighter. And the first session, it just it changed my whole mindset. It really put me on the right track. It helped me see what my life was and what it could be.
And what sort of mindset, so people can understand, what sort of mindset do you feel you were at when you first came to me? Tell people, you weren't in a great place at all, really, were you? If I quite remember, it was a few years ago now, yeah?
I feel it's just anything that could happen, I always saw the worst in it. And so I would always think only bad things are happening to me. So I would only see the negative side of things.
Right.
But now, if something bad happens, I'll look at the positive side. So my spirit will just go up and up instead of just continuing to go down.
Right. So you're seeing that the universe is saying to you, this isn't the right way for you, Bailey. Let's go
Mhm.
over here. So you did feel lighter. Yeah, you're right. You came and your mother came and your father came, actually. You did come as a soul pod to the sessions. So that's wonderful. Share some of the tools that helped you or that you're still doing now.
Meditation for sure. I meditate morning and night,
Oh,
and journaling. It helps me get like all my thoughts down. So
do you meditate before you go to school?
yes.
And is it for long?
It's different every day. It could be like 5 or like 20 minutes.
Right. And you find that really helps to, I don't want to put words in your mouth because I know what meditation does for me. So for those that haven't meditated, what would you say to them how it makes you feel?
It makes you just like the sessions, it makes like your mind a lot more clear, and it starts your day off better, and like you go to sleep. Like personally, I feel like I have a better night's sleep when I meditate and I'm not as worried. Like just things like that.
Right. And so your journaling and your meditation is your main go-to.
Hmm.
So if someone was starting out and not feeling great at this moment in time, what advice would you share with them to help them come back into that alignment?
Honestly, it sounds so cheesy, but like it does get better. Like I thought I could not be fixed. I thought I was so far gone. Like I was a lost cause, but it will always like the universe has a plan. So everything happens for a reason.
You know, at the time, the first time you came to me, you were what was depressed? I remember you were very depressed, and I get that. You know, you were online, you were doing all your online schooling. It was a very tough situation. What were you thinking about our world in general? Everything. What did you think going through that? Because I'm sure some people are still having a knock-on effect of that. Children's mental health is quite high through the roof, and suicides and stuff like that. So what would you like to share about that?
I feel like when I was on online school and that like whole pandemic was happening, I feel like I I don't think I've really thought about like how it felt, but now that I'm like thinking about it, it feels like you just got ripped away from everything, and you cut off communication with a lot of people. So you lose a lot of people. So
Right,
it just feels like you don't really have anyone, and then like you don't go to school for like another year and a half.
right.
Like you can't make any new friends, you can't go anywhere. So who do you have?
And so basically, I think there was also telling you to go into nature, right? So you're doing your
Hmm.
meditations, there was nature, we were doing one-on-one sessions, and so basically you brought the energy into your mind, into your own space, even though you couldn't get out of that space because it was quite a strict lockdown here. Is
Hmm.
that what you found that worked for you? Would you say
Yeah,
that's quite accurate?
yeah, yeah.
Great. So basically, and this was a question that Charles had actually. So do jump in, Charles, if you want. But what's your relationship with social media?
An important question.
It is an important question, because I feel like when I am on social media, I just feel drained. So it
Mm,
like takes it like sucks the life out of me. But
mm.
of course, every teenager wants to have social media. I'm not allowed to have it right now. So that's
I have to
honestly,
say, good for your mom in a way.
mhm,
Sorry, I agree with her. I won't let my son have it at all.
yeah, because I feel like, yeah, it just drains you. And there's so much negativity on there. Like you pretty much only see like negative things, and you're always comparing yourself to other people too.
Do you think that had an effect on your mental health as well, looking at all these other screenshots and things that were going on that we all know, I'm not knocking it because, you know, it's out there. We all use it for our business. But did you find that it was really, it doesn't help to people's mental health?
No, it doesn't at all. Because I feel like I had my phone taken away for 2 months, like my phone completely. And that's when I really like found myself. And
Uh,
that's when I just like cut off communication from everyone, and mainly social media. Like I haven't had it since then. And so it's really helped.
That
you
was
haven't, you're not
powerful.
on, sorry, Charles, what did you say?
I was just wanted to say that was powerful what you said, Bailey.
Mm,
You had your phone taken away for 2 months, and I found myself.
mm.
That gave me chills. That gave me chills.
It's true. I think that when you go to any retreat or ashram or anything like that, the phone is off, and actually you're living inside of that world that is an illusional world that each person has created. And for me, it should be more, as you've got in the back of your room, Charles, good vibes. I mean, I think it would be more to use a platform to show what younger people are doing, putting something positive out there. And because it is a society that's now consumed on making a living in that media, in that social media world. So you're not on any platform at all, nothing
No.
anymore. And you find now you don't miss it. It's not really an issue.
I mean, of course I miss it at times. Like if like my friends text me and they're like, "Oh, something's happening," like look on Instagram and I can't look. Of course I'm gonna miss it, but I just remind myself that it's better.
So for your mental health, it's really like made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And your friends that you're not on it and they're on it, what do they see a difference in you? Do they think, oh, maybe I'll be less on it? You look great, you feel great.
Yeah, I have had a lot of comments from my friends saying I look a lot healthier, especially from my family too. They say I look a lot healthier, like my energy is a lot healthier too.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, so I think that's a great message to, if people don't, not everybody has to come off it, but I think it's good to have a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a detox the other week off it for a week. I actually felt I needed to come off as well. And I'm not on it that much actually. And I felt so much better. And when I went back on to look, I thought, well, I haven't really missed anything. So I think if anyone's going to put something out, to try and really make sure they're sharing good energy, good vibes, or a new way of being.
That's important too, Terry, what you just said, that you didn't really miss anything. Because
No, same
that's
thing going around.
right? It's fear of missing out. That's
Mm,
a lot of what it's this fear of missing out that keeps people on social media. And if you're off it, like you said, your friends, Bailey, they'll mention something that happened. And it's like, it's even in our daily conversation when we're not on social media. It's there. Well, did you see that meme? Did you see that?
yeah, you're right.
And we are at the end of the day social creatures. We want to connect with each other. We want to be included in some
Mm,
way, but it you know getting connected back into ourselves, like you said, Bailey, the key is kind
yeah.
of extracting yourself from the fake inclusion to then be more included into your own life, because whose life is it? It's yours.
I
Mm-hmm.
think you're right. I think that, Mother Nature is a huge social natural media. And I think, get lost out there, get your inspiration, get your energy exchange, and then maybe use your platform to put out something really positive and change the energy of it. And not, that's what I find. I think otherwise it could be a little bit of a rabbit hole. So I think you've been great to cut yourself off from that. I know it wasn't easy at first. Your mom took it away from you because it's not your choice; it was someone else's choice. But in the end, it did help you, and you do look a lot better for it. Another question we wanted to ask you was, do you enjoy the educational system?
No,
Right.
I feel like they, well, not the entire thing, but the way that they they kind of bring us down. If I don't know how to explain it, but they don't know how to deal with like certain kids. Of course, they have like AP classes, then the normal classes, then honors, like, but they don't know how to deal with like personal issues and they don't know how to talk to kids and they just put them down. Like, if you're not doing your work, then that's on you. Like, we're not going to help if you're going through anything. So they don't really help much with, and there's a lot of teenagers with depression. Probably the majority of kids struggle with like depression, addiction, and they don't really do anything for that. They
In
like,
your school,
mm-hmm,
no one's doing no mindfulness meditations, no emotional awareness, nothing.
no.
I'm a bit speechless. Sorry. I didn't think it was like that bad, you know. So do you feel that it's become more head and less heart centered?
Yeah, because all they really care about is you going to college and you finding like a 5 to 9 job. So
And do you feel so? Would you say it's a larger ratio of the children at school that have a mental health or depression?
yeah, it's very rare to find someone that doesn't.
And how do you deal with that going in there? Because that is tough, because you're entering it into an energy when so you're meditating in the morning, you're moving yourself into a high vibration, then you're going into, do I want to say denser vibration, or is that the wrong word?
No, it's the right word.
The right
Absolutely.
word. So how do you hold that energy, or what do you do throughout the day?
You just kind of have to like block your mind from it and just get through it. Like, just like look at the good side. Like, if you have friends there, go hang out with them. Like, and just to like clear your mind. But really, it's really hard, honestly, because if there's a problem, like especially in the like Los Angeles County, with absence and tardies from school, that like kids are being taken to court. So, and that's only because like they don't want to be there. If school was better and the educational system was like better, then we would be there. It's not just because we don't want to do school.
Right. So what would you like to see change in the educational system? What would you like to see?
Um, Teenagers and kids being taken more seriously with about their emotions, because most adults will just look down on them and be like, you're being dramatic. Like, teenagers can't go through that stuff, but in reality, they really can.
So you think there should be more mindfulness and more compassion and more emotional awareness of an individual person, like seeing them for who they are?
Yeah.
Do you feel that, because I've never gone to any schools here, but do you feel that teachers just don't have the time, or what would your observation be around the teachers?
I say there is good teachers that really do care. And I feel like they all deep down do care, but they are told to teach you. And that's not their job to like have compassion for our issues and like talk about our issues. That's not their job. Their job is to make sure that we're getting our work done and we're learning something.
So let's just say if you were to have your own school, what type of school would you like to see? If
That's
you
a
had
hard
your own,
question.
yeah, if you had your own, I know what I'd have, but what sort of school would you have? If someone says to you, Bailey, what type of school we're going to build it around that?
Just something where the kids can like really, they can understand each other, and there's like, and the teachers will like have compassion for them. I don't really know how to explain it, but like just a lot more understanding.
So it's down to social emotional learning, really, isn't it, Charles?
Hmm.
I think it's
I think you explained it perfectly, Bailey. More understanding, because understanding doesn't, in my opinion, take a lot of time. It's just understanding. I think you're talking about something that actually is that simple, but it's only simple when people are taking care of themselves, right? So we need teachers who are taking care of themselves, right? When we're not rushing. So like you're doing meditation, you are taking care of yourself, so you're able to have understanding and compassion for other people. And so we need more people taking care of themselves,
Hmm.
because what I hear you saying also, Bailey, is that you come to school and your peers come to school with, feeling stressed, feeling depressed, but on top of that, it's also your fault. Like things become like you guys become the problem, or they blame you, or you feel blamed as well. So it's double. You're trying to learn, you're trying to get the
Hmm.
grades, but then it's also like it's our fault too. And
Mm.
and yeah, it's like if we just take a little time to understand that it's a little bit more than that. We're not
Yeah.
just, like you're saying, not just showing up because we don't want to show up, or we don't like it because we don't like it. There's a reason.
I think it's very sad that, going around a lot of schools around the world with our children's mindfulness, I ask a lot. I mean, some schools are great, but if you ask a lot of the children, do they like school? Majority, I'd say 70% say no. And I think that's really sad. And sometimes there can be around 10 or 11. I can see the disconnect. But it's funny that you're saying that, because this past week, that's what I've been teaching this year, is children to share their emotions with one another, for them to be understanding of one another, for them to be compassionate with one another when I've gone into the classroom, and for them to share their emotions, to teach them young, so that they carry that in life. Because then I think that it's so important growing up as adults to develop that and move us forward. Then we wouldn't have such a disconnected world. I think it's more, you're going to understand and take a moment and pause and be mindful and try and talk to that person openly and honestly, what's going on. Are you okay? And it's okay to share. We all have emotions, but then to know there's nothing wrong with them or you. It's just everyone's having that moment to share, how they're feeling, and for others to be supportive of that. And that's what we've been doing with the foundation. It's sort of taking that sort of way as well. We do everything through nature, but I see there's a lot of an emotional learning to be had. And do you share any of your meditations with your friends at school, or any of the mindfulness techniques, or any of our mindfulness meditations with them? Anything at all?
Yeah, I do. Because I'm really open about like the things that have happened to me and like what I've gone through. So they know about it, and they know that I've gotten a lot better than since then. So they do come to me and they ask me like, what can I do? Because as I said, a lot of kids
You've been there.
go through, we're all connected. Like we don't think we're going through the same thing, but we pretty much are.
Correct.
So
Wow.
yeah, they come to me and they ask me.
Doesn't matter where you go in the world. I've traveled a lot. You get the same answer from people. You get the same thing, what people want. It's just, it doesn't matter what culture, what background, what religion, they're all asking for the same thing. And I agree with you on that one. And I think it's great that you can share and help your friends that are around you. And has anybody ever brought it up to come to your school to do some mindfulness activities, or?
I don't think so, no.
Interesting. Well, we have another question here for you. I don't know if you want to ask it, Charles. Do you want to ask it, or do you want me to ask it? It's the parent one. So it's mindfulness. Would you like to see, so in reference to mindfulness, what would you like to see more of in reference to parents, caregivers, or teachers? Yeah, your peers. What would you like to see more from them?
I feel like, so here's the thing about that. Parents, they were born in completely different generation teachers, so things were a lot different. Mental health really wasn't brought up. It wasn't like a thing to be talked about. And personally, with my parents, they definitely have been through a lot of stuff, and they understand depression, anxiety, all of that. But it just wasn't something like people that age knew how to deal with. So when I would like talk to them, there was like a whole new world. They didn't know about any of this. So I think they're learning, but I think this generation, a completely different answer than the question, but this generation will definitely like understand more, because and things will be different, yeah, but they know like what to do now, because it's more like it's not hidden anymore.
Right. So do you feel that the children now are, would you say, more spiritually evolved or aware?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And do you find, listening to your friends, that a lot of parents, they have frustration with that, with parents?
Yeah.
That they're not hearing them or listening to them? What would you say it is really?
I feel like hearing and just like understanding, because a lot of parents, they think that they had it the worst. They think that Nothing can top what they've been through. So they don't really listen to their kid, just like whatever they say goes through one ear, not the other. So yeah, understanding and just listening in general.
Listening and understanding them. Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's what you said about the education system too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. So she's more or less saying adults, which is us, don't don't really listen. I mean, look, I'm not perfect, but with my job, I really do try, because with my son, and obviously I've got clients, and I'm with children and teenagers, I really do try and see them. Do you know what I find? I do try and see the individuality of each child, and bring forward and draw out, why are you here?
Mm.
You're not here to just be on this planet, go to school, get a job, and then get a house and 4 kids and die. You're here for a purpose. Your soul, like she just said, we're all one. We're like a tapestry. We're all here for a purpose. And if they were to draw out the qualities and the uniqueness of each child through education, why are you here? Instead of them thinking, well, why am I here? They don't know why. Some do, if they're in a family that, keeps that alive. Or like Bailey, your mum brought you to me, which we have to thank Brian for, your uncle, because his children came. So, to me, it's more around that, seeing the individuality. It's not, excuse my French, pack 'em and stack 'em. Sorry, I have to, in school, I feel it's pack 'em and stack them. They're too big. I feel sorry for the teachers, because I do have a lot of respect for teachers. Too many kids, they're too big. Smaller schools, smaller classrooms. Get a garden, teach them different things. Would you, just before we go, what would you like to see differently in your curriculum?
I feel like it all just like ties into the same thing, like understanding and listening.
Do they
And
teach
also,
you about being an entrepreneur or your own business or finance? Do they teach that now, and how
yeah,
to?
we have like business classes and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. And any gardening or how to grow vegetables or anything about the environment?
We have clubs. We don't have classes, but like my brother, he's in a club at our school, and they like go around, they pick up trash and stuff.
Cool. I think that's lovely. Is there anything else, any other wisdom that you would like to share with anybody at this moment in time that isn't feeling maybe great, they're down, or they're not feeling worthy, or they feel a bit lost, or maybe a little bit despondent with our world at the moment, even though I do think it's going in a better direction. It just doesn't look that at the moment. What insights or tools would you like to leave to anyone that's listening, darling?
I think kind of like what you said. Everyone has a purpose in life, whether that's for yourself or other people. But you just have to wait and find out what that is. And once you find it, you'll know. So and like the universe, they have a whole plan for you. So you just have to wait it out and see what happens. And they will never give you something that you can't take. They will never like they know your plan, and everything happens for a reason.
So you're basically saying keep that spiritual connection to whatever your belief is. Keep that connection to the energy around us. What you put out is what you bring back. And if it's not coming in, don't get upset. It's not right for you.
Yeah.
Just leave it. That's the key. Well,
so Bailey, you need to teach. You need to be. So Bailey needs to become a teacher in these schools, Korean school.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. Do you know what you'd like to be eventually, darling?
Well, there's like 2 things. So I do want to do something with art. So I think I want to be a tattoo artist.
Wow.
Or I want to make movies. I want to be a director.
Wow. That's lovely.
Create. You have a creative soul.
I know, yeah. Wonderful. Well, that's where the imagination comes through, by the way, your mind. So it's good that you're meditating. I always say to the children when I go around the school, expand your imagination. Don't look on your phone for it. It's in here. Very important. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for spending your time and being honest and open, and to helpfully change the lives of people of your age around you. And so if anyone would like to join us on the Angel Light Children's Foundation, A Voice for Children, please do contact us. Any children, any teenagers, even maybe there's a teacher that's willing to, have a discussion about a different way of education, or maybe you're doing that now. We'd really love to hear from you. So please do contact us at angelsoflightonline.com. And thank you for really being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bailey. It was an honor and a privilege to hear you speak. I think one of the greatest gifts that we can give anybody is hope and truth. So thank you for giving that to the world today.
Thank you for having me.
And let's share the voices of more children and teenagers around the world. Thank you, darling. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
The Angels of Light Children's Foundation, a voice for children and teenagers podcast.